And welcome to this show, and hopefully in a moment I shall be joined by David, and we'll take your questions. Now, first point is that if you're watching live now on Facebook, we can actually see what you say, so hopefully this will work. I shall move myself up here and or perhaps over here. We're broadcasting from Smiletime. We can see the comments you make on Facebook. We can see the questions you ask. We will respond to them. The comments we feature will appear on recording YouTube. So this is free advertising for you. And basically, if you've got any questions about live video, we're here, and David's here too. So I'm going to invite David in, and David's invited. So I'll change the layout, and David is in my palette. So, hello. 1 minute. Okay, David will be with us in 1 minute. If you are watching live, just say hi, then we know that you're around. And we'll take any questions that you have in terms of live video chat. It's been quite a weekend for me and for Fraser, as you possibly know. You've seen all the posts about live video, and I'm going to take David's back, I think.
I am.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, you are. Right, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you, and I can see you.
All right.
Right. Okay. Well, Claire's saying hi. Welcome, Claire. And Claire's on Facebook, so we'll say hello back to Claire, and enjoying your shows, and look forward to seeing more in the coming weeks. And good to see you using one of the platforms that we enjoy using, and one of those is Smiletime, which we're on today, and also Be Live. I think those are the two platforms that are of the moment where we find people getting engaged and involved in what's going on. Any news in the past week, David? Anything we should be aware of?
Well, apparently Bebo will be shutting down.
Oh, I've not heard that one.
Well, I can't confirm or deny. You know, based on my own, I was sharing it out. Based on my own, so this was third party that I heard it from. It was a post in passing.
Okay.
But it wouldn't surprise me. I don't think that it's been a very well received platform, and I don't think that a lot of people have been. I don't think it's doing exactly what they thought it would do. So that's the rumor. I did try and search, and I couldn't find anything. So.
No, I've been on there several times. I mean, it's 9 up on screen, and it is chat. There's no recording, is there? And the video quality is not as good as it was on Blab, and there's nowhere near what it is on Smiletime.
Right.
And they really did hack people off. So
they did.
It was to be expected.
Did.
No, you'd be interested in this. We have Claire has, in fact, if I can get that right, Claire's moved to Smiletime. Oh, wonderful. If you want to pop your channel link in, Claire, into the chat on Facebook, then we will publicize it. And if you've got your show times as well, we're more than happy to publicize those too. I think the Smiletime is the most flexible of the platforms, isn't it? And I
think so. I think it's yeah, it's got its own environment, and then it also incorporates the ability to go over to Facebook as well and include that, and so yeah. I like it, and it's not because I'm wearing a Smiletime shirt.
Your Smiletime t-shirt.
Well, my Smiletime t-shirt, my Smiletime swag came.
Wow. All right. Okay. Now I'm going to change the layout just for a moment because I just want to.
Okay.
I'm going to come up here myself, and I'm going to bring this across. Then we can talk about this. And these are the channels that are available at the moment. BeLive, Smiletime, Huzzer, Blue Jeans. Primetime was the old one, wasn't it? It's the Blue Jeans something or other now, and Fire Talk.
I'm not sure what it's called now, right?
Yeah, it's the Facebook offering, which I think is $39 a month.
That sounds about right. I saw it in passing when the pricing finally came out, and I think that that's correct. I don't know. It was kind of weird where I went to go find the pricing. It wasn't in their service. It was in some kind of post on something else. Yeah,
indeed. And if you're in the UK, you still can't see it. Very difficult. So, in summary, then,
I didn't realize you couldn't see it in the UK.
Yeah, it was restricted. It's restricted to the USA at the moment. So it's going to, well, obviously the biggest market is in the US, so that makes sense, kind of sense, doesn't it? Really.
Right.
Yeah, but your options at the moment are BeLive TV, which is free to use at the moment until it comes out of beta, and it does broadcast to Facebook Live and includes it includes comments, which go to Facebook Live, maximum of 2 seats, and it doesn't record. But there is a green room, which is good. How important is the recording, David?
I'm sorry, what?
How important is the recording?
Recording is very important because everything that you need to do right now with live needs to be actually garnered towards the replay. Just because we're more accustomed to watching videos like YouTube's and not being live. So other than a webinar, people are used to that. And that also, so let me throw another service in the hat, or another hat in the ring, another service in the ring.
That's fine. No worries.
Webinar Jam, which has been primarily and is still a webinar type platform. It's more than GoToWebinar. It gives you the ability to actually monetize, and by monetize I mean selling stuff. But they've used, they were built upon, kind of like so many other services, using Google Hangouts on Air and going live in that sense, and they've been that way. Well, with all the changes that have happened with YouTube and Google and Hangouts on Air, and just kind of a progression of time, they are currently in ultra beta, kind of alpha beta, I guess. They are moving away from using the Hangouts on Air interface completely that still exists. Even though Hangouts on Air disappeared, you still use a Hangouts on Air-ish, or you can, to go live on YouTube Live. They are moving away from that. They are going to be, so they've built their own infrastructure. Yep. And they're testing it out. They are beta testing it out now. Now, if you are currently a Webinar Jam customer and you're not a part of the Facebook group, I highly suggest that you go join the Facebook group. It's a wonderful group. There's lots of support and just feedback and all sorts of things that you can get from in there. But you can also get news and updates. So they have several updates coming over the next few months, and the first one is that they are going to be moving away from using the current interface to get them to go live on YouTube Live as that platform, and they're going to use their own thing, and they're calling it the Jam Session Room, I think is what they're calling it. It's actually really neat. It's going to allow you to have up to 6 people on video at one time. And like I say, they're testing it. There's not really too much else I can say about it, just because, and I am a customer. I was a customer of Webinar Jam before Webinar Jam was actually a usable product. So I'm very grandfathered in. But then down the road, they've got some other, so that would push using the YouTube Live engine. your webinars are not public unless you make them public. It just uses that engine. It's a whole skin. It's a very neat interface to use. But they are going to be bringing everything in-house and giving the options of you can use their service completely, kind of like a GoToWebinar type deal or a Zoom or BlueJeans where it's all in-house, or you can use the YouTube Live. Now, one of the interesting things with the being able to use all their stuff in-house is that you can then rebroadcast it out to Facebook Live.
Right.
So that's another one that's coming. The first part of it's going to be very probably within the next month, depending on how development goes and how people break it. All the current Webinar Jam subscribers will get access to the new, at no additional charge, the new jam session. They're going to release it in phases or increments out to people so that they don't overload, so that they can monitor, and they are welcoming people to break it. So I will be doing that, or trying to.
True. A couple of comments went in from Kevin, which I'll just bring up. He's saying that Hangouts now was rubbish, which I won't totally disagree with, because it did sort of take a wrong turn. And the second one is he's talking about Webinar Jam, and he's saying that it's big money. Do you think it'd be big money to?
Well, they went from they do really well. I can tell you that there's a lot of people that have purchased the system. They went from when they first came out. So when I purchased it, it was a one-time cost, lifetime. So I can never be charged anything else. Upgrades and all that type of stuff, it's all included in whatever I get. And then they released the product, and the price went up a little bit, but it was still super cheap. But they were charging, it was a one-time charge, and that's all you paid, and you got it for life. And then they switched over to a more usage-based model. Not a usage-based model, that's not correct. A subscription-based model. And so now it's a annual cost, and it's still not much. But you get their entire system, and when you sign up, it's an annual subscription that you pay for, and they're still doing really, really well. There was a lot of people that were very skeptical of what would happen, but I mean the cost of their system versus a GoToWebinar or a BlueJeans or an HOA is nominal, and so I think that they're going to do well. They've Andy Jenkins, who's one of the founders, I don't know if Mike Filsaime is still with them. I think he might have moved on. I think he's still a part of it. He's just not actively a part of it. But anyway, Andy Jenkins and Mike Filsaime at the beginning were, very hands-on. Andy is still very hands-on. He's in the Facebook group. He will chime in if he needs to. And then the support system that they have there, like I say, it's like nothing else that's out there. They have now what they call a concierge service. So if you purchase the system and you want to run webinars, but you don't want to know how to set up the webinar correctly and get all the emails set up correctly and all that type of stuff, you can hire them to do it, and they will do it per webinar basis or whatever. So, they're not suffering.
So they're offering a complete service. They're hand-holding and charging a reasonable annual license. Yeah. And
as you would expect. I mean, that's exactly what it is. And then, like I say, there are so many people that are in the group. Even if you're a first time and you have questions or you want to run through and the tutorials don't answer stuff, people will actually help you out and go in and go through a webinar with you and everything. And HOA being rubbish, I mean, the biggest rubbish that was out of HOA was the delay. And a lot of people do not understand why that delay was there. There is still a slight delay that's going to be with when they use the jam session just going direct to YouTube Live, but it's like 8 to 12 seconds. But people need to understand that the reason the delay is there is because of the peering network that YouTube has. When you broadcast out, you're doing your stream, your audio, and it's going out. But then YouTube takes it and they break it down into every available format that they can offer to anybody that's using the YouTube service.
Right.
So that's from 144, which is like yuck, up to what do they do, 720p. So that's, you know, 4 different streams that can go out. And so what happened, the reason for the delay is because of each of those streams. If you were to watch it in the 720p and that's what you're broadcasting in, then the delay is actually very minimal, less than 30 seconds. And that's saying something for Hangouts on air. But if you were watching it in 144, then it was a little bit more. And that's, you know, it's because you're now getting something that's been transcoded and pushed out. It just took practice to get through the actual delay that was there. Just kind of like anything, there's a delay using any pretty much live platform. Even if you're going direct to Facebook, there's going to be a slight delay, and you just need to account for the delay. It's not a Skype call. It's not a FaceTime call. You know, that's what a lot of people are used to. I'm talking to Steven. Steven's talking to me. We're back and forth having a conversation. Versus when you have, when you go live and you have an audience and you ask a question and then it takes time to get a response. It's because of the delay. So.
Yep. I mean, Skype is a proprietary system, isn't it? I mean, it's came into being well before what we're using today, which is WebRTC.
Yeah.
Yeah. And therefore, that's what this is a thing that people can't understand. Perhaps we can explain it. They can hold video chats on Skype with people around the globe, and then as soon as they come here, it don't work. And
right. Well, and that's because you go from a closed ecosystem or a closed architecture, something that Skype controls, to more open source, which is what the WebRTC really is. And you've got all these services that are now using this open source and providing a service out. And so with that, it takes a little bit more time. It could be bandwidth issues on your end. It could be a bandwidth issue at the service that you're using is in. It could be the type of router that you have may be old. It may be that your system is not the most magnificent system and really wasn't designed to do, you know, there's lots of bits and pieces that can make it all up.
Yeah.
And, you know, so it's and plus when you're watching, so now you're watching Steven and I, a lot of times we're used to going to, we equate this the same as like watching a video on YouTube. And the difference is between this and watching a video on YouTube is that you are actually receiving 2 streams. You're receiving my video stream and you're receiving Steven's video stream. If you're watching on Smiletime. Now, if you're at Facebook, Facebook is doing the same thing that like YouTube does, which they stitch the video together and then they provide one video. That's one of the reasons that I think Facebook is struggling with getting a, you know, a face-to-face or person-to-person, you know, 2 people on camera at the same time. It's difficult. It's hard. It
is. I mean, Kevin was mentioning last week or earlier this week that there were rumors of Facebook having the two up ready to go. Have you heard anything about that?
I have not heard that. Hope it looks better than that god-awful picture-in-picture thing that they had months ago that everybody was raving about. But, you know, I can guarantee even when it gets pushed out, it's going to be buggy, just like Facebook Live is and was more in the beginning.
For those of you who are watching on Facebook, Claire has in fact posted the link to her channel here on Smiletime, and if you click the link, then you can subscribe to her channel, which means you'll get notified, possibly, when she goes live. So that's number 1, and we encourage you all to come on to Smiletime for the simple reason that it's free, and it will always be free, won't it, David?
What's that?
Using Smiletime.
Yes. No charge to creators.
No, there's no charge to creators. We had the pleasure of Alex's company last week, and we have it on recording. If you go further down my profile, you'll find the recording from last week's show. And Alex, for not the first time, mentioned that.
That's right.
Right.
And no screen sharing. Just to mention that again, no screen
Well,
share.
yeah, it is. There are ways around it. If you wanted screen share on here, and I'll possibly do a test tomorrow, is you need some third-party software to do it, and then it's your own overheads and on your own head. But it does work. It does work, but not on Smiletime itself. And the point about that is that if you are screen sharing, then you're not talking about you're not interacting, are you?
Right. Right. You've gone from interacting and engaging, making it about the community, to marketing and sales. That's what it really is, and that's not what Smiletime about. So,
no, the Smiletime about is what we're doing today. Is getting engaged with everybody. I mean, and Claire's noticed that. I'll just read it out. I've noticed today as I started on Facebook, switched to Smiletime and got a slight repeat. Yes, yep. That's what we call there is a delay, and the thing is that the magic thing is, and it's disconcerting at times, is that the Facebook feed is faster than the Smiletime feed, isn't it?
Well, it is, but that's because all they are doing when we push it to when they push it to Facebook is they're just taking the video and the audio and pushing it out. Yeah. There's no room, there's no chat, there's no chat spotlight. They're not having to handle transcoding ours and making sure that it goes back out to you as the viewers when you're in Smiletime. Facebook's handling all that. So basically they take it, they hand it off to Facebook, Facebook stitches it together, pushes it out as a video. And Facebook's got, and there are times when there is a longer delay on Facebook. It just depends on how Facebook's resources are going.
That's very true. Now the next point comes in from Pat. Hello, Pat, and it's this question aimed at both of us. I think, why are you using Smiletime instead of Be Live? Right. Do you want to? Well, we chose Smiletime.
This is your broadcast. Why did you choose Smiletime over Be Live?
Right. Okay. If it's just two people involved, then Smiletime or Be Live, you can choose between them. If there are going potentially more than two people going to be involved, then I would go for Smiletime, especially if you want. I'll just demonstrate this. This is something that you can't do on Be Live. David and I are going to go to the top of the screen. Okay, so you can see the both of us there, and that means that we can bring in. I'm not going to bring that one in. I'm just going to bring an example in, but I don't want to do any marketing, David.
Do your marketing, Stephen.
All right, I'll just do the marketing then. Just a minute.
Advertise your course.
Right. Okay. Well, yes, because you're in it. You're in the course. Right. Just a final shout out then. Today, the book written by myself and Fraser Hay is free, and it's all about live video, but it's live video plus marketing, because getting on live is one thing, making sure people know you're there is another. And this is aimed at businesses who want to go on video and basically looking after your viewers, but it relates to all of us as well. And as I was able to post yesterday, there are over 50 people in the book who've been part of this journey, and I'm grateful to all of them. But this is an example of what we can do on Smiletime that we can't do on Be Live. On Be Live, you've got two screens. Unless you involve additional software like Manycam or OBS or vMix, you can't do anything other than the two people on screen. Whereas on Be Live, we can bring in slides which we can change, and just to show that we can bring a slide in, and just to show tomorrow at 5 o'clock, quick advert, across the pond with myself and Leland. And then we can just switch back to the normal layout. So we've got more flexibility on here than we do have on Be Live. So it is, we've got a phrase over here, horses for courses, yeah. Depends on what you want to do and what you want to do with the show. If anybody wants to join us here, live on Smiletime and on camera, then just try to say, all right, okay, Pat's now here inside. Pat, if you want to join us on camera, can you just type yes, and we'll bring you in on camera as well. Okay. And the observation from...
Pat's got another question about LiveLeap.
Oh, wait a minute, let me find it.
Oh, I put it in the chat spotlight.
All right, okay, I'll read it out. And does this work with LiveLeap, broadcasting across Facebook pages, LinkedIn, and Twitter audience notification? David, that's one for you, Ivan.
No.
No.
It doesn't.
First of all,
I don't think. Honestly, I really don't know how LiveLeap truly works because I've never played with it.
Okay.
I know what the premise is behind it, and I don't agree with it.
Right. Okay.
Because it's doing that whole pushing thing to multiple destination. I just and I know some people like it, so I you know, again, my opinions are my own. They're not anybody else's, but so I haven't really used it. But as far as I know, because LiveLeap uses APIs to get into Facebook and all the others, it's not going to work. And Facebook's also got the thing now where, and in fact, again, I'm not sure how LiveLeap works, but I know when LiveLeap came out, Facebook didn't have the criteria that you could only go to Facebook Live if you were going to go to Facebook Live. And I think when that changed, I think it upset a few people. I'm not sure. There's ways around it, but because I use a service called Joycaster. But there is no API currently available into Smiletime. So
mention that while we're here. So you're just talking about hopefully joycaster.com.
And Pat says she can't hear until we let her into the studio, so she's missing the answer.
All right, it's a minute, Miss Minute. My apologies for that. Okay, Pat, we've got your video feed on screen now, and I'm just going to move. But we have a situation where we don't have your camera. So now this is what happens when things don't go entirely according to plan. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you off screen for a moment, and then you know the drill, Pat. I mean, it's not, I'm preaching to the converted. I'm going to take you off screen. If you press refresh, and I'll bring you back in here again, because we would like to talk with you. So I'm going to take you off screen now, and if you refresh your browser, I'll bring you back in. In the meantime, yeah, and that's the advice you give as well. So we're on the same page. It's the only remedy we've got if anything goes wrong. Okay, right. Carlos is saying, Carlos, can you just confirm that you could actually see Pat then?
I couldn't see her either, and I couldn't see her on Facebook.
Right.
Yeah, it takes you out of queue, Pat. He'll have to put you back in queue.
Right. I've invited you again, Pat, and right this time, and I'm still getting bringing Pat on screen.
Here we go.
Hello.
Hello.
Right.
Hi.
There she is.
It worked.
Right. Ask us your questions, or make your observations. Which platform do you use?
Well, she was talking about LiveLeap. So did you hear what I was saying about LiveLeap or no?
No, it had me in the queue, and I couldn't hear anything that I heard you say you weren't sure. I've used Facebook Live. I'm obsessed. I use LiveLeap to broadcast it across all my pages. Yep. And my holy grail is to have something where I can interview like we're doing now, or interview and share content, and broadcast across. So that would be my holy grail home run.
Yep. So I'm not complete. So I don't have LiveLeap. I didn't really agree with LiveLeap and the premise that it was built on. So I never got it. But as far as I understand, the way that LiveLeap would work is it needs API access, and there is no available API access into Smiletime.
Okay.
So that's how that as far as I know, that's how it would work. I would actually have to test it out, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. And then Lively, I think when Facebook changed the rules and said you can no longer go to Facebook Live and to YouTube and to wherever else you want to go, you have to only go to us if you want to go to us. I think that messed up Lively a little bit. So I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of going to more than one location. It's confusing for your audience and it's confusing for you. So I'm not an advocate of that. But if you're doing it and works for you,
well, it works because it would notify my LinkedIn audience or my Twitter followers or my email list or whoever and say, hey, Pat's about to go on and talk about whatever I typed into my subject. So I could feed a good subject line and have hundreds and hundreds of people. Whereas on an individual channel, it might be smaller to start, especially.
Right. No, I understand the argument behind it. I just don't agree with it. That's just me. There's such a struggle with live video right now for you to gain an audience, for you to actually use it, for the audience to understand why they should be there, what's unique, because I'm catching something live and it's a mobile type deal, really. There's just lots of stigma behind it that I can't advocate. And I do it sometimes. So I do what I don't advocate, but it's more to sit there and play around and test stuff than it is anything else.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's kind of, if I'm sitting there and I'm going to Periscope and I'm going to YouTube and I'm going to Facebook all at the same time and I'm looking over here and I'm talking about, hey, and interacting with the Periscope people, the Facebook people, the YouTube people are left out. Even though I may be reiterating whatever's said or comments or questions and answering and everybody's getting it, it doesn't make it unique. And then people start going, well, where do I catch her next? Well, it seems like she's interacting with Periscope more than she's interacting with Facebook. And I've given Pat lots of money and so F on her. And, you can just, because we're seeing that type of stuff happen where people are marketing way too much with it way too quick and they're not using it for a social interaction, which is what it really is. And a distraction. So anyway.
Well, no, I mean, there are no wrong answers here.
Right, and there are no right. My opinions are my own. So
yeah, and when we're all able to use this technology in our own way and reach our own audiences, and if your audience is spread, then more power to you. I mean, but there, as David said, I'd never heard of the system before, so I can't comment on the one that you mentioned. But I mean, we're both. I mean, there are different camps. I mean, I prefer to be on a platform on one platform at a time where I can just interact with people. But I mean, we are in the position that we can use these services for free, which is brilliant.
So, and I got cut off when you were saying why Smiletime versus BeLive. I was in the queue. You started to answer, and then I was in the queue, and I couldn't hear. I'm sorry.
Okay, right. The thing about Smiletime, and I'll just show you the first thing, is that I can change the layout. Yeah.
Great.
Okay. So you've got yourself and David on screen now. And then if I want to bring a graphic in, yeah, I can bring a graphic onto screen and we can talk about the graphic. Yeah. So there is more flexibility. There is more flexibility on Smiletime. If you were doing a webinar type program, then Smiletime would be my choice because you can bring in slides and then you can take those slides onto screen and off screen and you can cycle through them quite simply. Yeah? Okay. Which you can't do with BeLive. If you've just got 2 people on screen, BeLive. If you've got more than 2 people and you want to do graphics, then Smiletime. Okay, but it's also what you're more comfortable with that counts.
Does Smiletime allow you to invite people, or do you need to do that through your email or through your posting on your page and have them show?
Right. Okay, we come to another difference now. I'll go back to different layout. Right. Okay, there we are. I'm going to take that off screen. Right. The situation is that on let's take them case by case. If you go for Be Live, you've got to decide beforehand whether it's 1 or 2 people. If it's one person, if it's just you, then there's no invitations to be done, and you just go live on screen at the appointed time, either to your Facebook page, your profile, or a group. Okay, so page, profile, group. If it's 2 of you on screen, you have to invite the person that you want to have as a guest before the show. They then come on screen, and you can see the 2. Once you've got the 2 of you, you can then go live. Now,
turn it on, right?
It's not a time to go live. You can go live at any time. Yeah.
Right.
But if you want then to have a different guest, you've got to say to your other guest, I'll see you later. Take them off screen, send the invite link to somebody else. Yeah. And somebody else comes in, and you've got you've got 2 more different people on screen then. So it's a bit cumbersome to operate.
Right.
Smiletime, you simply came in the room, I saw you, you typed something, I clicked your picture, you came on screen, and we can do that until we've got 4 people on screen. Although I defer to David in a moment about having 4 people on screen. And basically you can swap people in and out. If we want to bring somebody else in now, we just need to click and invite you in, and then move you onto the screen. It's as simple as that. There's no links to be sent out. Okay, on Smiletime, you appear here and request to come on screen. Done job. Yep. Does that answer the questions?
Yeah, so there's no invitation heading out.
No,
if they're on your page.
Well, if you want to invite people in, you can do. There's an invite VIP link. Although when you broadcast, you're actually including a link to the show. So anybody watching this now, live on Facebook, at the top of the post is the link to here. Yeah. Okay. So anybody can click that link and come in. Yeah. So 2 people is Be Live, 2 people, 2 people, more than 2 people is Smiletime, and that's how it is at the moment. And David, just want to have a word about 4 people on screen here.
Well, I guess I need to. I still haven't tested it out again. I don't think so. With Smiletime, once you bring that 4th person on, it goes wonky and it doesn't work. And they're aware of it. They were working on it. I'm not sure if they ever fixed it. You know, but in theory, it's supposed to work. And whenever they fix it, it will work. And I'm not sure if it works now or not. So we'd have to get somebody else to try and come on camera. But basically what happens is that the 4th person, it's hard, either you can't see them or it's hard to, they're jittery, and then everybody's video starts going wonky, and that's what was happening. But that was a few weeks ago, so I'm not sure if they've fixed it or not. I know Smiletime still got some big updates that they need to come out. They're still trying to push a better mobile experience with a better mobile app first, and so once that's done, then the other updates will happen.
Right, now a question for all of us. Sorry, David. Just a moment. Hang on. Just a minute. This is a technical hitch. I invited David back in. Okay, and this time, I think what we should ask them is that there is at the top of the screen when you're on Smiletime is a dismiss from stage panel, but the unfortunate thing is it overlaps where David is at the moment, and if you get it slightly wrong, especially when you're live and you're panicking, then you can make people disappear from screen, and you don't mean it. So apologies, David. And our question is, and I think it's for all of us, Blab had a huge community. Why? It's allowed multiple guests and was free. Apart from Smiletime, all that followed Blab want dollars. Do you agree with that, Pat? Or?
So far, I mean, I think I had Be Live TV for free, but again, I just started it. It worked. I only tried it a couple of times, and it worked, and then it didn't, and then it did. So I was hesitant to do anything other than get on and say, okay, look, guys, we're totally testing.
Yeah.
and then watching it work and not work. So people are, get a little bit annoyed at a certain point with that. So I tried to do it at off hours so I wasn't annoying my peeps. And then I went back in and I deleted the video from my feeds. Tried to get at least one or two folks who would test it with me, do it at an off hour. So even if it was on my page, it wasn't alerting and annoying the daylights out of folks. Because you look like an ass after a certain amount of time going, oh, we're testing, oh, we're testing. They know that I'm always testing new things with you, but they only have a certain tolerance level for it.
True. I mean, Debbie, we do live in a world where we're, with the exception of Smiletime, we're in beta, and that's the problem, isn't it? This technology that they're using, WebRTC, is well, it's open software, isn't it?
It is. And the difference between, to address that, Blab had a huge community. There was a community, and there seemed to be quite a lot of people there. I wouldn't agree with Blab's number of 4 million something or whatever. I think that was a lot of somebody blowing smoke up at something. But everybody else. So here's the main thing. So, and we talked about this again previously, but a lot of services, there is a software that's out there called TalkBox, and TalkBox is what Blab ran on top of, FireTalk runs on top of it, and there's some other platforms. No matter what, even if you're not using TalkBox, providing this service costs money. And so you have to figure out a way to offset the cost of the money. Mm-hmm. Now, if you have investors so there's always going to be some kind of plan. Smiletime's even got a plan. I don't even know what Smiletime's real plan is. And I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm not Smiletime. It doesn't matter to me. TalkBox is so what happens with TalkBox is that it's a licensed type service. So the more people that are on broadcasting and the more people that are on viewing at any given time, each one of those people is a license. And those licenses are not cheap. This is why FireTalk went the direction that they went, because nobody was using the service at all. And then all of a sudden, Lab imploded, and people were running around like chickens with their heads cut off, trying to figure out where to go. What do we do? And so they found FireTalk because of a few people. And FireTalk's a really nice platform, had some nice features to it, but their license usage went way up really quick. And so they took the route and they sat there and they said, okay, well, first they threw advertisements in that were flash-based and were horrible and were crashing things out. It was terrible. But then they decided that they were going to charge for the service. Well, that upset a lot of people. A lot of people left. Yeah. And then it was, and FireTalk was still buggy. So Smiletime is proprietary. They've built their own software. This is all their own building on top of WebRTC. They're not using anybody. BeLive's pretty much the same way. They're not using it. So will something one day come along the pipe where it involves some kind of monetization? Yep, I probably, but again, that's their service. This is sand, and you're playing in the sandbox. Right. You need to have contentions built in place long before. And it's funny. Here we are at the end of a year, and I guarantee a lot of people still haven't learned their lesson. They've just gone on to the next great thing. Facebook could change. YouTube can change. Periscope could die. All these different things. And if you've not made it, if you're building an audience and that's the only place that audience exists, when that goes away, so does that audience. They're not going to come find you. They're going to be done. And so if you're doing this as a business type deal, even if you're not trying to market and sell, you're just trying to help. You're not helping anybody. You're especially not helping them. So, go get yourself a custom URL, a .live URL or something. People are running specials on them all the time. and have it redirected towards whatever your channel is that you use, or build a page on your website and have it directed there, and then have a way to have any of your live broadcasts embedded there. And when you give stuff out, don't tell people, come find me on Facebook or come find me on Periscope. You know, promote you. Take away, you know, build your own sand box.
Right.
You know, that's really what it is. But then, you know, everybody's still bringing up Blab, but where is Blab? And like I said at the beginning of this, now I've heard Bebo's going away. And that was what they were pushing everybody towards.
Yep.
They wanted me to go test it. And I was like, nah, I'm not going to play with it. And now they may go away because it was really a shoddy service, a shoddy app. So,
unfortunately, it was. I mean, the situation is that, as David quite rightly said, things are going to change. And if you are on your own page, then that's under your control. But the other thing that happened in the last week, I still have 2 shows on Fire Talk, because after Fire Talk told everybody they can only have 10 minutes a day, they then said to 20 of us that you're providing reasonable shows on here, you can have the system exactly as you had it before. And then they extended that. So we've been on that situation since Fire Talk said it's 10 minutes a day. And the quality is good. Sound, vision, no problem. The recording is excellent. It has to be said it's better than YouTube because it's HD. Sorry, it's better than Facebook because it's HD. But the problem was that I went to the Fire Talk front page last week, and the only thing I could see there was my shows. And I thought, where's everybody gone? You know, I mean, the page used to be full of shows, featured shows, upcoming shows, the whole thing. And I was on my own. So I thought, what's going on? So I wrote to Caitlin, who's been our contact at Fire Talk since the beginning, and I got no reply, which was unfortunate. So I then put in a support ticket, and the support ticket got a reply within 48 hours. And the situation is that if we want to know what's going on Fire Talk, we just need to check their blog, which we will do. But the thing is that Fire Talk have fallen behind because Smiletime and BeLive TV go out to Facebook, whereas Fire Talk doesn't. On that note, I shall move myself over here and bring in the next point from Neil, which is, has this killed the community over the last 6 months or so? Is there still a sense of community about in
I think it brought
live
realization
streaming?
to it. I think it brought a huge sense of reality. Well, I say that, and then I see the same people doing the same things. It should have brought a huge sense of reality to, one, this is really just a distraction at best right now. Mm-hmm. And you know, your audience isn't used to it. We're not used to it. We're trying to use everything that we've used on other stuff to make square peg round hole. That's what we're essentially trying to do. I see a lot of people, and what they do on these is really a webinar. And instead of a webinar, they're using, you know, a GoToWebinar or Zoom or whatever. They're using this. The community scattered because there really wasn't a community, or, like I was saying before, you didn't take the steps to sit there and try and have them come and use themselves and there. Go like fan page on Facebook. Right. And when they're on your page, have them join your list. Talk with your list and build their list.
Right.
So the list went away. And then that we're very regular on, if not broadcasting, watching. They've moved on. They're not. You know, we're still friends and communicate and stuff, but they're like, well, you know, it was fun, but it was a distraction, and that's what all social media is anyway. It's a distraction.
To some, it's a business. But we
don't want to get into that because I'm hurt feelings. So
all right, okay, that's a conversation. Conversation for another day.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
I can tell you. Oop,
Go ahead,
when you
Pat.
just added, the fourth person, when Claire just jumped in, all of a sudden, David, you got really wonky and slow and delayed.
That's
I don't know if
you're
everybody
right.
else noticed it, but just thought I'd point that out.
No, you good observation, and you're quite right.
Right.
Claire volunteered to come in, and thank you for doing
Yeah,
that, Claire. But as soon as I brought Claire in, the main feed just died really.
Yeah.
We could hear what you were saying, but the video feed just went, David. And
It was,
yeah. I mean, it's what we don't want. So Claire, thank you for helping. And I think we can say after that, having tested it live, which is what we normally do, if there are a situation where you want 4 people on screen, then just alternate people, bring them on and off, so you've only got 3 people on screen at the same time. That might be the way to do it. There's always more than one way to get a solution. Okay, and I think that Claire's saying she might have issues as well. I was there briefly, but might have been broadband issues. It's going slow every now and then. And Claire lives in the south of England, where they should have good broadband.
But Claire's broadband issues wouldn't affect me and my video.
you are right.
Exactly.
And so the bug is still there, and they're still they will address it.
Yeah.
That's about the best I can say. It's just like Stephen, what you were talking about with the dismiss from stage. They've got all that in planning. They're probably going to get rid of that.
Yeah, that comes back.
No, but
yeah, that's one of the things we love about this platform. They work to their own roadmap, and things, when they say things are going to get done, they do get done. Right now, Claire, the situation, we can't see you on screen, and I'm a bit, I don't. If you refresh your browser, it will. If you refresh or close your browser, then come back. That's probably the way to do it. And okay, I'll bring that on screen as well, David. Yes, so it's a shout out to people in Brighton. Yep. And has Pat gone? Can you see Pat, David?
I see Pat. She looks like she's frozen.
Yeah, I see Pat's feed is frozen as well. Just a minute. And Pat can see herself on screen. Hang on. Okay, that's not working. Just a moment. Technical problem. Just give us a second. We'll have this resolved for you.
I cannot see her on Facebook, Steve.
No, I've got a problem.
I would probably dismiss her from the stage.
Yeah. That's not working. All right, hang on. All right. Things seem to be working slowly. Okay, I'm going to try and change the layout again.
Pat, try refreshing.
Yeah. And David, we've been running nearly an hour now. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Good. Good. Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. We know that Pat went into the dark. Then I think I'm heading that way too. Do you want to say thank you to everybody, David, and we'll do a wrap?
Sure. Absolutely. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in again and letting me entertain you with my opinions. And Stephen.
Yep.
Come check us out next Monday, same time.
I'm up for David.
Same bat time, same bat channel. I know Steven's going to be heading off to Germany sometime, so.
Okay, so that's the week after for Christmas. Looking forward to that. But I'm looking forward to next Monday. Thank you, everybody who's watched us today, and we'll be back next Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. GMT, and we'll take more of your questions. Thank you to everybody who joined us on air today. Thank you to everybody who asked questions. And thank you to Stephen and Claire and Pat and Neil and everybody. Take care. See you all soon. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, I've got a lock screen. I'm going to I think
You might have to refresh yourself.
Yeah, I'm trying. I think my browser's locked actually. Yes, my browser that's locked.
See, that's what
Okay.
happens when you talk about
I can't even go
rubbish
off air.
speed down in the south of England.
Yeah, I can't even go off air. Right, I'll see you next. I'll see you during the week, obviously, but I'll see you next week. Brilliant.
Okay.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.
Yep. Bye.